overcome. The only way you can fail is if you quit. Never quit. Keep pushing. You will get there in the end. Failure doesn't exist in the mind of champions. All it does is push them to a higher level. Are you a champion?
From dating to relationships, from sex to love, from Christianity to politics, from darkness to light, you have now entered into the Real Zone. Welcome to Conversations with Trent, where no topic of conversation is safe from discussion. Now, here he is, Mr. Epic himself, Trent Williams.
What's going on? What's going on? What's going on, beautiful people? Welcome to another podcast with myself and Shann on the conversation. We got a nice one tonight, real nice one tonight. We're talking about romantic relationship laws. What do you mean by that, Trent? Romantic relationship laws. I'll explain it. Let's bring Shann in 1 second. Hey.
Hey, good evening. Happy hump day.
What's going on? What's going on? What's going on with your name?
What's going on? What?
What's going on with your name, Atlanta?
Oh, nothing. We had a little bit of a storm earlier, but now it's all clear. It's really nice this evening.
Okay, good. Yeah, we actually sent that storm over to you guys. A tornado touched down over here last night, man.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I saw the news touched down several different places.
Yeah, man.
Over the past several days.
Yeah. Yep. So, romantic relationship laws. Mm-hmm. Actually, Mark sent me over a text and asked me, did I see this movie? I was like, nah. I checked the trailer out. I said, nah, I haven't seen that one. So I pulled it up, searched it, and pulled it up. Apparently, it's a new movie with Ben Affleck, and it's Deep Water, not without the S, Deep Water. And the movie pretty much was about a married couple, actually based out of New Orleans. And the lady was very scandalous. She was very scandalous. The wife was very scandalous. And she was doing things in this marriage that was very weird. But he was allowing it to take place. So through the course of the movie, she was sleeping with these different guys, would pick up these different men, and sometimes bringing them home. She was sleeping with these guys in the house where her daughter lives, the husband lived, and he would sometimes see them making out in the house, but never saying anything, never addressing it, never saying anything. So I got to thinking after I watched the entire movie, he became a killer of all the guys that she was sleeping with. He started murdering these people, right? And I got to thinking, I was like, wow. I wonder, did he set laws for the relationship? Did he write the bylaws for the relationship? Did he or she write the bylaws for the relationship? It just got me to thinking, like, wow, how could he just allow that to go on and progress and get worse and worse? And as the movie went on, a scandalous just went worse and worse. I mean, it was bad, real bad. And that's where the topic came from. Romantic relationship laws. So I was wondering, like, I wonder did he write the bylaws for the relationship from the beginning? And that's what happens when, I guess Mark sent it to me because he knew I was going to look for a teachable moment in that. But it was kind of crazy, man. It was crazy. Your thoughts?
Well, I mean, I watched the movie after you told me about it. I didn't think. I mean, you kept saying it was a great movie. I didn't think it was.
I thought it was. I thought it
was kind of stupid. I mean, honestly, I just feel like, well, what was the point of the whole thing? They obviously had an agreement. Was the premise that they had an agreement in the marriage that she could have other relationships or affairs as long as she didn't leave him and the daughter. And you could tell that basically she's a younger woman and he's a bit of a more mature man. So I just didn't understand if it wasn't what he wanted. He goes out and starts killing these men basically because of
Right.
his jealousy for her, or, or whatever. But it was like that's what you set in place. But I don't, I didn't really particularly care for the movie because I don't think it gave enough background on the characters,
Right.
or you had to kind of assume certain things, and I just thought it was weird. I get kind of what I pulled away from it, from how it ended was pretty much that, here, there was a part in there where she said that he asked her when she, accused him of murdering somebody, or one of her
Right.
lovers. And he was like, well, if you think that I did that, are you not scared of me? And she was like, no, because I'm what you killed what you killed for.
Exactly.
Like, to me, the movie was just like, I'm really surprised Ben Affleck did that movie, because I didn't think it was that great. I'm like, did he just have an obligation to Netflix that he had to do one more movie or something? But
Right.
to me, not his best work. And I think had the characters been more developed, with certain things as far as their relationship and their marriage, maybe so you could have a better understanding of them, it may have worked better for me. But
Right. Well, what I pulled from it was a teachable moment, and I didn't get a chance to share my thoughts with Mark on it. But my thing is, when people go into these different relationships from the onstart, in order for you to actually write the bylaws to that relationship, or he or she to write the bylaws, you have to. It's a must that you know yourself.
so first of all, good evening, Mark. Welcome. Hey, Gentle Giant, welcome. Thanks for tuning in. So what are exactly your bylaws? I've never sat down with somebody and gone over what the bylaws.
Bylaws meaning what you'll accept, what you won't accept, what pretty much get a clear understanding, like a very clear. Apparently, Ben Affleck in the movie he agreed to this, but
Mm-hmm.
he really didn't want that from the onstart. If
Mm-hmm.
he did, he wouldn't have started killing these people. So
Right.
apparently, he did not know himself. He agreed to it because it
I
was
agree.
lustful. And I noticed that every time within the movie, every time she would actually look at me, get angry or get upset, she'd make some type of sexual advances toward him and all this other stuff. So it's lustful for him. It's very lustful. But my whole point is, how many relationships I know I have that people go into without writing the bylaws, man, of what you expect, what you'll tolerate, what you won't tolerate. And I know for me, I didn't do it from the onstart because I don't want to run her away. I don't want to scare her off, or I don't want to do that. But end up being tragic in the end. The
Mm-hmm.
relationship end up being tragic in the end because I'm worried about how she's going to look at me, how she's going to view me. When you actually set your bylaws out, you write those bylaws. This is what I expect. This is what I will tolerate. This is what I won't tolerate. And we're going from that. If we agree upon that from the onstart, you have a better chance with the relationship. If you don't, well, hey, nice meeting you. Let's move on.
I mean, that's true. I think that's kind of, I don't know. I guess for me, that's just basic with telling people what I want, or
It's
if
basic,
I'm
but
not getting, or if something's not being uh, communicated. I will say I'm a lot better at it now. When I was younger, I probably didn't, and that was, I think, from my own ignorance and youthfulness and naivete of not really knowing myself well enough. But I mean, over
right,
the past 10 or so years, yeah, that's not applied. I can't say.
exactly. But that's the whole thing as far as with even presenting someone with bylaws or what you tolerate, what you won't tolerate, or here's what you expect. You have to know yourself before you start writing the laws. You have to, because if you don't, it's another superficial situation. And
Yeah. Do you feel that you're all what you always communicate the things that you want or don't want, or what you will do and what you won't do, or will accept, or or not?
in past relationships, no, I don't. I don't. No, I didn't. I didn't. But now,
Mm-hmm.
if I'm not gonna do it, I'm not gonna do it. And I'm very solid on that, and I stand on it, 10 toes down. But in my past, no, I didn't. Really didn't. Nope. But that's where you find the relationship dies a slow death because nobody's communicating, nobody's upfront with it, man, and worried about what the other would think, or I don't want to lose her because I really like her and this never. Hey, man, just throw it out there.
So do you find that the other person at times that the other person doesn't communicate either, or just more so you? Or wasn't communicating, or more so you? Hey, Wendy, good evening. Thank you. Welcome. Thanks for joining us again.
What up, Wendy? What up? Yeah, but as far as read that question one more time.
No, I was just wondering when you said that you knew that you didn't express or communicate certain things. Do you think it was the other person also, or more so just you?
I mean, both ways. I think it goes both ways. I mean, it goes both ways. In my situations, it
Okay.
goes both ways. And it's just the relationship dies a slow death because no one's talking, nobody's saying anything, nobody's putting everything on the table. Sometimes in some situations, they place some things on the table, not everything.
Okay.
So that's how the relationship died a slow death. But you have to be willing to go out on that limb and say exactly what you expect and what you do not expect, what you will not do, and be done with that. Those are called bylaws, in my opinion.
Those. Okay.
You write the bylaws.
So, what are your bylaws?
My bylaws is, I mean, that's funny. It's funny you'd ask that. But as far as me with the bylaws for me, peace is
Hi, Ingrid. Welcome.
who's
Sorry,
that?
go ahead. There's a new viewer tonight named Ingrid.
Hey, what's up, Ingrid? What's up? That's I think that's Frank's fiance.
Oh, okay.
Good stuff, man. Good
Awesome.
stuff. So yeah, but as far as my bylaws go, one major point for me is it's got to be a lot of respect in the relationship. Starts off with the respect, the peace.
Mhm.
We'll just go down the line with pretty much my bylaws are simple, very simple. And yours?
Respect is your bylaw. You gave
Nah,
us one.
come on, man. You have to just
Like, what are like your top three?
top three would be communication for one. We have to communicate.
Mm-hmm.
We don't fight to win. That's another one. We don't fight to win.
Okay.
Why are you laughing? What are you laughing at?
You continue.
We don't fight to win. You know what I'm saying? Because sometimes the only way we're gonna fight if we're fighting together. We don't fight to win. We don't argue, going back and forth to win.
Okay.
Just to win, or be right and all this other stuff. But that's two. But no cheating. No cheating and
Right.
honesty. True trust and honesty. That's more than three. What are you laughing at? Knock it off.
Oh, you shouldn't even have to ask what I'm laughing at with that one, but okay, go ahead.
True
Continue.
trust and honesty.
Huh?
Truth, trust, and honesty.
Truth,
That's the
trust,
top three.
honesty. Okay.
Stop joking around. True trust and honesty. So
Okay.
you place true trust and honesty on the table. It should be no problems at all.
Okay.
True trust and honesty gives you communication, gives you everything. True trust and honesty.
Okay.
And yourself, what are your bylaws?
I think for me, definitely truth, transparent, but more so transparency.
Exactly.
Meaning it's not that you just are honest, but you are transparent about the things that maybe I may not necessarily ask about, but that could affect me or the relationship.
Okay.
Faithfulness, the ability, they gotta definitely be able to be faithful. And so I said transparency, and I think communicate. Well, I think communication would definitely come under transparency because you had talked about that. But the other thing I want is just really like I don't want to say a sense of adventure, but positive energy, I guess. that you know, I don't somebody who's always complaining about something. You know, there's enough crap going on in life at this point. And yeah, but we both can't be complaining and be upset,
Exactly.
mad. So somebody who can, you know, help keep a positive perspective.
Okay. I jotted down a few basic rights in the relationship.
Hold
Just
on one second. We
okay.
have a couple of comments. So Ingrid said Frank and she and Frank are there, and Mark said
What
he
up, Frank?
found it he found it to be an entertaining movie, the true definition of a thriller. Another good movie from Ben Batman was a cuck, and Melinda was a supple, young, sexy. Her that was their game. Mark, I don't know what that means. I really we might need a translator tonight.
That's
Yeah,
cool.
I mean, I'm gonna be honest. I really had to force myself to sit there and really watch it because I'm just like, what is
It didn't for
and I'm
me.
like, going to get to something? Is there really going to be something? You
Right.
know,
It was entertaining. It was entertaining. I was kind of surprised that he was allowing this to go on as far as her having sexual encounters in the home with
yeah, but
you know,
I wasn't surprised because the summary or the premise of the movie was that this was their agreement. I was surprised that if this was already, it's not like she just started doing this, she was sneaking
right,
around behind his back. It was an agreement that they had obviously already communicated within their relationship. So
which
why
goes
are you
into
getting mad? And the thing about it is, everybody knew, like all his friends knew that, you know, I don't know if
which
they
goes
knew
in
that
which
he was okay with it or that it was their thing. But I mean, it was obviously something that they had agreed upon. I mean, she brought the dude to the house. He knew a
right.
couple of them. You know, he knew them.
But again, like I stated in the beginning of the show, which goes back to he wasn't honest with himself
True,
for one,
I could see
and
that.
he agreed to something off a lustful mind. He agreed to that because you could tell he was very infatuated with her. He was
Yeah,
infatuated when
I
he
don't think
allowed some of these things to take place.
I don't think it was a lust. I think he loved her. I think he had an unhealthy toxic love for her. I don't think it was a lust because the thing was they weren't physical together. They slept in different bedrooms. She made reference to the fact that he wouldn't do certain things with her. So I don't think that it was a physical thing that he was lusting after her. I think, you know, it was he just had a toxic love for her.
Right. But
Um,
like I said,
and very unhealthy.
what I took away from the movie was I'm like, okay, when do we go into these when we go into these relationships, who's actually writing the bylaws for the relationship? Like, there is no way in hell that I would actually agree to something like that.
Right.
Even if she brought it up to me, I knew that hey, I can't go any further with this relationship. I can't do that because I
Right.
ain't know me.
Right. So let me finish Mark's comment. He said that was their game to achieve max sex fulfillment. She set the trap for men knowing that she was married, choosing to take the risk and disrespect their marriage, showing everything that's good to you ain't good for you. It's, I get that. And I think under a normal circumstance, I can't even say she was disrespecting the marriage because that was what their marriage, they defined their relationship, their marriage as that. That's what they defined as marriage. And at this point, it's all to me, it's all about what are you defining marriage as? What are you defining the commitment as? And that's where people are today. That's why you have people um, who live poly lifestyles, you know, whether it's
Yeah,
solo poly, all the stuff that's going on. So I think I'm not even going to falter and say she was disrespecting marriage. Maybe to my standards of what I believe, yes, but obviously for that's how they defined their marriage and what they were supposedly okay with.
exactly.
He didn't realize what he was probably signing
It
up
was
for.
evident that he walked into the marriage and it was no honesty on the table because he wasn't honest with himself. First, he allowed the foolishness to go ahead, and then he started killing these people because he's got this jealous rage.
I don't. So Mark said we didn't see any agreements. It was their I guess, way of both getting what they wanted. He loved the chase and the payoff. She got her cake and eat it too. The others were disrespecting to his face. I don't even know that, because what I didn't understand is why, if he was allowing her to be able to do these things, why wasn't he out there doing it? But that again goes to the unhealthy, toxic love, whatever you want to say he had for her. And I'm only saying there was an agreement because he never is, obviously he's not, until he started killing him. It's not, you don't know that it bothers him. But when they give the summary or description of what the movie is about, they say that it's that's what the agreement, that they have an agreement.
Right.
So that's what I was going off of. But that's another part of why I was like, the movie they needed to dive more into developing the characters and the storyline of the characters and their relationship. That's why it was not entertaining for me. It was very hard. I had to make myself like, okay, sit there through it, hoping that something exciting was going to happen, or we were going to get to something that was okay. Oh, that's why. It never got there. Right. It just never did. And some people, everybody has their own opinion about it. It was painful. Right.
We'll get to the
binge watching my little ratchet TV shows.
That's funny. We'll get to the what not to do in a relationship on the other side of the break. We'll be right back, folks.
Okay.
Thanks for tuning in to Conversations with Trent. We will be right back with more conversation after these commercial breaks.
Check out the creative work of the author Trent Williams of www.taylorkennedymedia.com. Chapter of the Delta gives us a peek at his life-changing events. And if that's not enough, Trent tells you more about his brothers and his life through memoirs in his book, The Four Horsemen. His blogs and daily stimulating quotes are published in his book, Life's Little Addiction. And when you have a need of some human coaching of life and relationships, take a look at Conversations with Trent, Volume 1 and 2, and Conversations with Trent, Limited Edition. You will find his works available at Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and all online book retailers.
Welcome back to Conversations with Trent. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're online and want to be a part of tonight's topic, you can do that by dialing 347-324-5327. Press the number 1 to get into the queue so that your voice can be added to tonight's conversation. Now, let's get back to the show.
All right, welcome back. So let's get back. Let's get to the topic here. Let's talk about the few a few basic rights in a relationship. We're gonna talk about the few basic rights. I jotted a few things down just to share with you guys about a few basic rights.
Okay.
Number one, you have the right to remain silent. If we're arguing, if we have an argument, I have the right to remain silent. Sometimes silence is the best key to successful relationship in some cases. Number two, you have the right to avoid parenting. He or she is not your mother or father. So please don't monitor me. Don't ask me my whereabouts, all this other foolishness. I am not your child. You're not my mother. So you have the right not to parent. I shouldn't have to tell you basic things about the relationship or growing up in the relationship. Number three, you have the right to ask but not tell. Relationships die if they do not progress. Again,
Wait,
relationships
say
die.
that again. You have the right to what?
You have the right to ask but not tell. Meaning, I'm not going to tell you something like, "Hey, Chad, I'm not going to tell you to do this." I can ask. I don't
Oh,
have to demand anything or anything like that. So,
okay.
relationships really die without any progress. So, there's no progress from telling you everything, from demanding everything. There's no progress. That's no progress. There's no growth in that, anything like that. All right. Number four, you have the right to be right and wrong. The question is, do you want to be right all the time or do you want to win together? I wrote a blog about 8, 9 years ago, maybe 10 years ago, about the profoundness of 12 simple words. And I wrote it about my relationship to Morgan, which is from the book Chapter the Delta, Marilyn Morgan. And it was one simple question. One simple question I asked her: do you want to be right or do you want to win? Do you want to be right all the time or do you want to win? The profoundness of 12 simple words could have fixed that relationship. But wanting to be right all the time was a no-no. But winning together, it takes a challenge. It takes a huge task. So you have the right. So that's a few basics. A few basics about the relationship and how it grows and what have you, how you water it, how it progresses. But if it's stagnant, it's gonna die a slow death all the time. I've had a couple of them. Go ahead.
I was going to say, Mark had a comment. He said, bylaws in a two-party system. God already laid the rules in Scripture for all that join into holy marriage. It's those unwritten rules, the 7 deadly sins that folk partake in. So he must not have finished his comment because the others. So I asked who makes. Okay, so we'll have to wait for the rest of that, Mark, because we only got that first part. I don't know. See, sometimes I have to, kind of bring the other side to it because, while agree, I believe in the whole covenant of marriage and what? Oh, I'm sorry. Hold on. He says, so I ask who makes a motion when shit goes sideways with each party having one vote. I'm not sure I understand that. Can either veto the other? After all, the man is the head of the household. I'm curious, for this piques my
As far
interest.
as yeah, as far as the bylaws, like I said in the beginning of the show, at the top of the show, you have to be willing to be a co-author of the bylaws. I mean, it's not a dictatorship. A relationship is not a dictatorship. So you have to be you have to be willing to be a co-author of the bylaws, and there have to be an agreement put in place if you're going to agree to these bylaws. And if you cannot agree to the bylaws, the relationship's not even worth going forward. Then you shouldn't even go on with the relationship. There should be no talks of a relationship if you cannot come down to a common understanding. But I believe that bylaws should be written by both parties. It should not be a dictatorship.
No, I
Dictatorship
agree.
is
I
not
don't
what
believe in the whole dictatorship thing.
it doesn't work.
I mean, I guess because I talk to people who have different, I don't want to say value systems, but different beliefs than I do, or core beliefs than I do about their spirituality, about God, about just different stuff. And we all, I'm assuming, pretty much base our moral compass and the things that we believe in, a lot of the beliefs that we've developed and thoughts that we have towards these different things, such as marriage, who's the head of the household, based off of the Bible. Everybody doesn't believe in that. Everybody doesn't believe the Bible. So I can't say that, you know, I get it, Mark, when you say the man is the head of the household. For me, yeah, okay. But for everybody, no. Um, so I think sometimes, we
And
can we
this
can
is where
have our belief and our perspective based on what our opinions and our perspective based on what we've been taught to, and what we've learned basically from childhood on up, and what we still probably continue to practice and learn now. But everybody's not like that, and I think that's one of the things a lot of times that I challenge Mr. Epic on, is that everybody doesn't think like. And right now, it's kind of like everybody's opinion has to be respected. What everybody else believes has to be respected. It may not be what I believe in. I may not agree with it, but I can respect your right to believe in that.
right.
And at the end of the day, if someone else does not believe that there's a God, or that, certain things are going to happen at the end of this life, or that what's written in the Bible is true and all of that stuff, like who's to say that they're wrong? I don't know. And I'm just saying there are just a lot of questions that come up, and the bad side sometimes to this is when it's just kind of you and I, is that we both have very similar beliefs and value systems, right? But we don't have anyone on the opposing side who's different, to hear their perspective and their thought process, to bring
Well, I welcome anybody to come on.
give more dialogue and support.
I welcome anybody to come on, but
So it's always kind of one-sided, which is kind of why I'll go back and I'll be like, I try to play devil's advocate, because again,
yeah.
we can't think that everything that what we believe or choose to believe is 100% right. I choose to believe that. I know that's what I want for me, but I can't say that that's not right for them. In that particular relationship that was depicted in that movie, that was how they defined their marriage. It would appear to me that he agreed to something, and I think you hit the nail on the head with him not knowing himself enough. He agreed to
Yeah,
something.
I saw the movie as entertaining, but as Mark knew, and that's probably why he sent it to me, he knew that I would find a teachable moment in that movie, because I was questioning him, like, okay, man, you agreed to this, so I mean,
yeah, because I was like,
it was evident that I didn't see an agreement as well, but it was evident that he agreed to this because he was allowing it to come into his home.
Right.
So the teachable moment for me, I was like, you know what? I'm going to turn this into a topic, because this guy didn't go by the bylaws. He didn't even write any bylaws for the relationship.
I think
And if they talked about it, they agreed to do this because she was actually doing it freely, very freely. And that's what my whole point is.
It was like one guy dead or missing, she off to the next guy. I'm like, what kind of nonsense is this?
Exactly. So my whole point in the topic is to say that we all go into these things, man, premature. Then we make these decisions after the sweat dry.
Well, okay, so let's go back to that. Let's go back to that, because I think one of the very first shows that we ever did, we talked about, I can't remember the title of it, but that's when we talked about what like I said, I know I'm a sapiosexual. I like and crave and are attracted to people who are very intellectual and thought-provoking and can talk. So I'm gonna be honest, I tend to eliminate a lot of this throughout the process, or vet a lot of this throughout the process of me talking to someone. Like I don't do a lot of texting initially with people. When I meet them, it's like, you need to get on the phone, we need to talk, or we need to meet. I need to know that you can hold conversation and all that kind of stuff. And then these are things that come up. Now, You know, as much as you want to talk about dating pools and online dating stuff, those are the type of things that happen when you initially meet people. You have those conversations about, you know, what do you like, what do you not like, what was this like, all of that kind of stuff. So, you know, I think maybe I've gotten to be a little bit more seasoned, unfortunately, in this process. So I vet a little bit differently, so to speak. So, but like I know for me, having that type of agreement in any relationship, married or not married, would not work for me.
Right, but my whole point
I
is
know myself enough to know that.
exactly. I'm glad you said that. Thanks for the alley. You have in any situation, you have to know yourself first, man. And I've coached all that over the years, a ton of years. You have to know yourself first before you can actually move forward with anything, whether it be a business relationship or a romantic relationship or a friendship. You have to know who you are first.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, yes, absolutely. And I think a lot of times we go into relationships not knowing. And I mean, it's challenging because it's like, what do you do? Because when you're in your 20s, and I'm gonna be honest, the things I know about me now, I had no clue in my 20s or in my 30s.
Exactly.
So how would I ever know about really what I wanted in a relationship? And that's why now I'm like, when I look back and I think about even when I got married, I was in my 20s. It's like what I want now in a husband is nothing like what I wanted then. I didn't have those same requirements or know that I should have even wanted those type of things in a husband, you know, to be able to have in a partner and a lifelong partner. So
I get it. But I honestly, I truly believe, and I'll stand on this, because you see some of the emails and the calls that I receive with people in these relationships. I'm talking high number. We're doing relationships wrong. We're doing relationships wrong. Even in our 50s, 40s, we're doing relationships wrong.
Yeah.
And I could actually speak on that.
Yeah. Hey, you Georgia girl. Thanks for stopping in. I'm hoping you hurry up and at least come pop back on a show here. I need I need some more estrogen.
What's going on, girl? You did what? What you say?
Need some more estrogen. It was nice when Tammy was on last week, and we had,
Maybe I'll bring it.
Men like to gang up. Y'all like to gang up, even if they're in the virtual feed. It's like a gang up type thing.
Georgia girl knows she's always welcome here on the conversation.
So Mark, I think I answered your question. He said, any ladies watching, would y'all implement a set of similar bylaws? And he asked if I would agree to a set of bylaws. I mean, a similar set of bylaws as to what? Like one person, you can still have those extra affairs on the side as long as we stay together at the end of the day. Like you have to elaborate on that.
Yeah, for me, that wouldn't work for me. As far as I'm not going to agree to, if you want to go sleep with some other folks, you need to do that, and you don't need a return ticket back to Trent.
Well, what if women would have said that to you back in the day?
Say that again now.
What if some of those women would have said that to you back in the day?
Back in the day, it was very hard for women to say no to Romello.
Oh my God. Okay. All right.
Hey.
Gotcha.
Hey.
All righty. So, but I don't know that I call them bylaws. I think it's just basically you're just being transparent about your expectations and your desires. And
right.
I do.
The reason I say bylaws. The reason I say bylaws, because when you think about when companies write bylaws, right, that employee is going to stay in line. That employee is going to walk a fine line. They will not.
Not always true.
Not always true with you being in management.
We got bylaws for how this country is supposed to be run, which are laws, and people don't always
deal with a bunch of idiots, though. So that's I'm
just saying, just in general, we have laws that say you shouldn't murder. You can't, not to murder people, but people murder people, right? Not to drive drunk. People still drive drunk. So we have all these things.
Mark's saying something else here.
He says, people change, situations change, kids, mortgages, jobs change, most of all stress levels. Also, it's been stated, a woman has the choice to change her mind. Bylaws are cool, but the game is rigged. I don't get that. What do you mean she has the choice to change her mind about what? And why do you feel that? First of all, what's the game? And why do you feel that it's rigged? Inquiring minds want to know the answer.
I think what he's talking about as far as the game is rigged. He's talking about the thought process of knowing Mark. He's talking thought process of women, but in my opinion,
What? Wait, no, but no. What's the game though? What's the game in all of that?
the way honestly, the way men and women, in my opinion, the way they approach these relationships, they approach it like a reality TV show.
Huh?
I mean, all these superficial things and all that stuff. The game
Like
is
what?
rigged.
Like what?
The game is rigged. Let him explain it.
No, he says no. Like what Mr. Epic mentioned, that doesn't help me. What is the game? What do you mean approaching it like a reality show? Give me an example of what that looks like.
First of all, superficial. A ton of superficial going on. So as far as relationships, think about this, right? Let's talk about this for a second. If I meet you for the first time,
Mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna tell you exactly what I'm really expecting because I want to impress you. I want to do all the things and say all the right things. Instead of saying what she really need to hear, don't give her what she want to hear. You follow what I'm saying? So I'm gonna give you all this.
But that's not everybody. Like I don't have. I'm gonna be honest. I'm at a whole different spot. I don't have time for that.
Exactly.
Like,
That's my whole point.
That's where the transparency comes in, and that's where like
how many people you know? How many folks you know? Honestly, in your pool of friends.
What? Uh-huh.
How many of them you know will be that transparent or say something that's not popular to really vet them real hard?
Well, my immediate circle, I would say probably 4 out of 5.
4 out of 5. Okay.
Yeah.
It's a good number. But how many of us really would vet really hard when you're talking about entering a relationship? We're talking about doing life together. How many of us gonna really vet hard?
I mean, I get that. I mean, I get that, and I think I understand, and I see where you're coming from. For me, I just know that it's like you just get to a point where you just get tired.
Mark just answered you.
The game of life, of course. What's the game of life? Yep, like the fake reality show. I still don't understand. I need something definite. So I need.
We talk about reality shows, right? We talk about reality. I'm always on you about reality. I was watching right through TV tonight and all that stuff. Like people tend to look at these reality shows and try to live their life through those characters.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying? And it becomes irritating to me because you don't know who you're meeting for the first time.
So
getting the representative. Say again now?
So the representative.
Exactly.
You're getting the representative. Okay.
Exactly. So no one really wants to actually place all their baggage on the table. Think about it. If I placed all my baggage on the table all at once in that first encounter, she'd get up and run. She'd get up and run. But I'm being transparent. I'm being very honest. But she will run from that.
So is this baggage that maybe you should probably be dealing with before even trying to bring somebody else into your life?
I'm talking about I'm not talking about that type of baggage. I'm talking about the stuff that I expect.
That's everything. Not baggage. That's not baggage.
But to a lot of people who actually don't care, who have their own baggage, that's a whole bunch of baggage to them. Well, hold on a second. He's putting kind of requirements on me. He's putting restrictions on me. Wait a minute. You can't do that. You're just meeting me. You follow what I'm saying?
I mean, you're not going to say that at the beginning. I mean, it takes time to build up to that, right?
Let me tell you something.
Getting to know somebody.
I'm glad you brought that up. It takes time. I don't have that kind of time. I died 3 times already. Let's get to the point.
So what you have to do is put all your baggage on the table, or throw all the chips on the table. And
my whole point is, let's just get to it. Let's get to it. Let's get to the entree. Let's get to it. All that trying to let me see what she's gonna do first. All this foolishness. Come on, knock it off. Let's just get to it. Get to it. If you accept me, you accept me. If you don't, hey, get moving around.
And thus you and Mark are single, right? Okay.
What'd you say?
I said, and thus you and Mark are single. Okay. All right.
Hold on a second.
Gotcha.
Hold on. Let's be clear. Let's be clear. I have no problem with my singleness.
Yes, you're the one that was a girlfriend for life. from the last show we did. Okay, got you. Frozen. I think we're frozen. Well, I'm wondering if there's some issues with his internet down there in Nolans.
I almost lost you. Are you
There
there?
you are. There you are. I was wondering if there was some issues with your internet down there with the storm and stuff that came through.
There's a storm, but it's not. Yeah, it's kind of buffering.
But
Well,
I mean,
what
I
did
get
you
what you're saying. I mean, of course you don't want everybody wants to bring their, put their best face forward. And it's not necessarily, hopefully you've cleared up the drama baggage of your life before you start trying to bring someone bring
exactly.
someone in. But the other things, as far as what you want, those to me, that's not baggage. And I think so. Hold on. I'll go back and say, years ago, I met someone online. We met up we had talked, they had a couple of exchanges until we ended up meeting up in person for drinks. And I will say, he basically told me, and this was probably about 4 years ago. So still, I was in no childbearing state of mind, but he wanted more kids. Now, granted, he already had kids. I think he had a 17-year-old and a 13-year-old. And I'm like, why the heck would you want more kids? And he had a timeline. He was like, I want to be married and have another child within 18 months. I want to be married and have another child within 18 months.
Right.
And I'm like, that's not me. I'm not, I'm definitely not interested in having another child at this stage of my life. And I can't say that I want to marry somebody, I can't put that kind of timeline on it. Right. And, he was like, the next couple of sentences, he was like, you know what, I think we're just, we're this is what I want. That's not what you want. We're not going to be compatible in that matter. And I don't want to waste your time and such and such. And we parted ways. I appreciated that. He was very transparent about what he wanted and that, to me, that's not baggage. And I think I would appreciate everyone being like that.
Because it's not baggage to you, because
how are your expectations? When have expectations that have ever been considered baggage? Baggage has a negative connotation on it.
Let me make the point. A person who's completely transparent, and if you're dealing with a person who's not transparent, that's going to look like baggage to them. That's going to look like problems to them.
No, I think I disagree. But hey, Relationship Table Talk, thanks for joining us.
Hey.
And then Ingrid said, expectations versus reality is a question some should ask in their relationship. Yes, baggage. Now, and I mean, for me, when you say baggage, and I think the majority of people would say baggage has a negative connotation to it. Expectations is not a negative thing. You tell your children you have expectations of them when you're rearing them, that they go to school, that they make good grades, that they do their chores, blah, 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 blah.
Let me drive the point.
Hold on. That's not a bad thing or a negative thing. So I think we need to start differentiating the whole stop making baggage and expectations of what we want. There's nothing wrong with wanting what we want. It's when we want what we want from the people who can't give it to us.
And I agree.
Okay.
My point is, just like I said,
let's be clear. That's not what you said.
Listen what I'm saying. Okay. My whole point is a person who's completely transparent to a person who's non-transparent, a person who does not know themselves, that could come off as negative to them.
Okay. That's not what you said before. You said that could come off as baggage.
Blame it on the condition.
So now you cleaned it up and you said it can come off as negative.
Blame it on the condition, not a brain.
That could be very true.
Thank you.
That could be very, very true.
Blame it on the condition real quick.
You know what? Okay. I'm not even gonna go there tonight. I'm gonna let you have that moment.
Hey, actually, a viewer out of the DC area said he loved the back and forth between us and he was pretty much saying, he said it without saying it, but with my dominant personality, you're always coming in and you're challenging what I say. Don't come along with the same views I have, and you're always challenging everything. So you said he's tuning some more truths. He's doing it tonight. His name is Deontay out of DC.
Thank you, Deontay. No, I am not that chick gonna sit in the back and just let him say what he want to say, even though it may be BS.
I'm a dictator. No, let me stop.
He ain't no dictator. Now, when he talking to me, he's not. He might have been with some of them. With Romello, might have been the dictator with all them other chicks back in the past. But Trent, the author, don't get away with that here on this show. Not at all.
There it is. Good stuff. Good stuff. We had some great reviews, some real good reviews. Some from Wendy, Wendy's friend out of, I think she was out of Florida. Had some great. I think I shared with you some of the.
Oh, okay.
So we really appreciate you guys tuning in, and Frank and Ingrid, not the newlyweds, but soon to be newlyweds.
Oh, they're getting married?
Yeah, they're getting married on April 9th.
Oh, congratulations.
Frank's a good friend, very good friend of mine, very dear friend.
Oh my God, April 9th is my dad's birthday.
Oh.
The day to get married on.
Yeah. So we had dinner. I had dinner with the both of them this past weekend. Well, last weekend, right? I think it was Friday. I think it was. But I had a good time. With him, chatting, catching up. I hadn't seen Frank since it's been some time, but good to see him and all. Always good to see him.
Where's what's the other gentleman that was on that you had on the show while I was I
spoke with him. I was at the gym early and I spoke with him. He's waiting on his shipments for his new line to drop. So they just shipped it from overseas. So he should be getting. He's pretty busy, but he's over in Mexico right now. Nice.
Okay. Yeah. All right. So, Mark, did you have any other takeaways from the dull, boring movie nonsensical movie you recommended? Just let us know. I was so disappointed. I was like, I actually love Ben Affleck. I do. Yeah.
Like I said, so for me, I was looking for the teachable moment. I just could not understand why this guy allowed it first of all, and every woman wants a man. Every woman, I guarantee you, if that have been a totally different situation if he'd have put his foot down from the jump. Every woman wants a man, and every woman will take advantage of a man that allows her to do anything. Every woman will take advantage of that. Tell me where's the lie.
I mean, you gotta be careful how you say every woman. That may not be every woman's desire.
I'm wait. I want all the hate mail. That's fine.
I'm just saying that I don't know.
Right, but again, at some point, no woman wants a weak man. If he's going to lead, he had to lead with strength. Am I right?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. I stand corrected. The other young lady was out of Ohio.
What's out of Ohio?
She was. I said Florida. Wendy's friend, but she's out of Ohio. So.
Okay. So Mark said his bylaws must include no negative TV programming up in here. Hashtag no love and rap or wives TV.
Exactly.
I used to, I was definitely loving hip hop Atlanta, Real Housewives of Atlanta and all that stuff. But it's just kind of that was just like a guilty pleasure. When you're mature enough, you realize that all that stuff is fake anyway.
Right.
But now my new guilty pleasure is the whole 90-Day Fiance series, 90 Days.
Okay, I just can't.
All of it. I love that.
I cannot give reality TV my time at all. And I was actually browsing.
They come knocking on the door with a contract wanting a reality TV your life or wanting
reality TV. It would have to be by my bylaw.
Look, we gonna make it part of our life. They want a reality TV this conversation now. Just know that.
They're gonna have to drop a heavy bag on.
We gonna reality TV it all the way to the bank. I'm just saying. You ain't some now. My mom ain't raised no fool.
Won't be nothing ratchet, I tell you that.
Oh, you ratchet already.
When the cameras are off.
You ratchet already.
When the cameras are off.
Anyway, all right. Well, okay. So the teachable moment that I think the last takeaway is really that unless you really know, you have to know yourself in order to be able to, I don't want to say just bylaws, but be able to communicate and communicate or express what your expectations are in a relationship
Absolutely.
to a potential partner. And
Absolutely.
clearly he didn't know himself enough.
That was the entire point. That was
Yes.
the entire point. So
All
good
right.
stuff. Good stuff. Real good stuff.
Yeah, that
We'll be
movie was
back
horrible. The movie was
Sunday.
horrible.
Which is
The movie was horrible. It was horrible.
I liked it. I really liked it.
Did you watch those other movies I sent you, Lady Hawk or Pride and Prejudice?
What'd you say?
Did you watch
I
that
could
movie?
I couldn't get through the Pride and Prejudice thing because it just didn't have any melanated skin, enough of melanated skin for me. I couldn't
So
get past.
what? So what?
I
It
couldn't.
isn't about that.
I couldn't.
Neither does Lady Hawk. It's not about that. I mean, if it's a freaking movie based back in the old whatever times.
I mean, it's still. I gotta say.
Go back and watch the movie. I had to sit through this painful ass movie that you sent me. Go back and watch the movie. Yes. Do that. Okay. And I think he's frozen again. Yep. I think we've got unreliable internet down there in let's see. You're frozen here. Technology.
Okay.
All right. Are you back?
What's
going on with your internet tonight? Oops.
Yes. I mean, we're having issues here.
No.
Okay.
But yeah, go back and watch the movie. I don't care if it doesn't have melanated people in it. Everything.
I'm gonna try and get through it.
Oh wait, excuse me. There was only one piece of one brown speck of a couple in the movie you sent me, and it was filmed in New Orleans.
The only reason I watched
a city full of black folk.
The only reason I watched it because I was okay. They shot it here in New Orleans. Let me check it out. I was kind of surprised that that Slash sent that over to me with all that, non-melanated skin up in this. I was kind of surprised that he even sent it.
Yes, he said, not sure if you both picked up on all the Easter eggs. Ben was a multimillionaire. His character was a multimillionaire. He could have had whoever. That was their French door to their bedroom. Yes, that was their get down #, period. Yeah. So, I mean, I will just say that she even said that she married him. That's what he wanted. So obviously that's what
he agreed to it.
And so there must have been certain terms to which she said, okay.
And again, like you said, the teachable moment, just like I said, what I was actually trying to bring across in the entire show, the teachable moment was he did not know himself to even agree to that and then get upset and start killing these people.
Oh,
come on.
Shoot. You know what? Let me make that correction. Thank you, Mark, because I think I said it was on Netflix and it was on Hulu. Somebody else had asked what movie it was, and I think I put Netflix and it was actually Hulu. So thank you for correcting that. He said Melinda was a temptress, and those cats thinking with their little heads became stats.
Pretty much.
Yeah, it was. I mean, it had its moments of kind of like you had these kind of like thoughts that made you think, especially when she was saying, why are you the only man that never leaves? And I think that's why at the end it ended the way it did.
Right.
I'm not going to give it away for anybody who goes and watches it, but I think at the end she started to really understand who she was married to.
Right. That's cool.
Okay.
That's cool.
All right.
It's good stuff. So we're actually 1 after the hour, so we're gonna get out of here. Kobe needs a walk, and I need some dinner.
Wow, you haven't eaten?
Not today, because I stayed at the gym a very long time. So.
Wow. So no senior citizen dinner today. Usually like the 4 or 5 o'clock dinner supper time. But okay, that's all right. I'm shocked.
I got you, senior citizen. I'm gonna give you that for free. The next week is gonna cost you.
All right. So I think we're still waiting on these assessments because we were gonna discuss.
Yeah, actually, I have a meeting with Tammy in the morning in the AM so we can work the assessments out and all that good stuff. So
Okay.
we'll,
Sounds like a plan. Well, thank you everyone for tuning in tonight and for participating, and for our new viewers, Ingrid and the Relationship Tabletop crew. Thank you guys so much for stopping by. We hope to see you again on this Sunday, again at 7 p.m. Central, 8 p.m. Eastern, where we'll have another epic and hot topic of discussion with no holds barred, of course. Because it would not be authentic and real if we did. And make sure that you check us out on YouTube on the Conversation with Trent and Shann. Make sure you subscribe and invite your friends.
exactly. You guys be epic.
All right. See ya. Have a good night, everyone. Bye, Trent.
Bye-bye.
Overcome. The only way you can fail is if you quit. Never quit. Keep pushing. You will get there in the end. Failure doesn't exist in the mind of champions. All it does is push them to a higher level. Are you a champion?
Conversations with Trent in conjunction with Taylor Kennedy Media and your radio network would like to thank you for calling in and listening to tonight's episode. We hope that tonight's conversation offended you just enough to turn your mirror inward to come back for more. So until next week's conversation, be epic.